Alright, this is for backwoods. I mean, other people might like it, but more so backwoods. We talk about this the most, at least in video form. I know I get comments on this. Alright, so since the last time I talked to you, right after I talked to you, a couple days anyway, I went and paid the Amish people. So they're going to start building pre-famine, I would say, the cabin in a few days, about 4 days. They said it'd take about, 14 days to build it, I guess, something like that. I kind of forget. Doesn't really matter. So, all kinds of bullshit with my truck. I don't want to talk about trucks and bullshit right now. But I had this idea. And I would run it by you guys because it's something I'm definitely thinking of doing. Like, when I say thinking of doing it, it's just a matter of, well, it's two different ideas. One of them is definitely happening, and the other one I don't know. So the first idea is, they're both cheap, nothing spectacular. I got this nice Amish outhouse. And every time I'm looking at this outhouse, I'm like, well, there's really much to build in this. I mean, it's really nice, but it's not like the most complex thing, right? I totally could build one, especially being where I have one sitting right there. So, I thought about building an outhouse in shape only, with a normal floor, and putting a rack up against the back wall, and putting batteries on that rack for my solar setup, and using one of the other walls to put, the charge controller and shit on. All the same stuff I did with the fucking lobster tank years ago, just it would be a little bigger, I guess. A little bigger. It's gotta be bigger. My point is, I don't like building shit in a way that I have to bend over to fucking work on it. So, an outhouse, it's like a narrow, tall, skinny building, basically. You just open the door, step in there, and the fucking batteries are right there. You see what I'm saying? So, I think that's the route that I'm gonna go with that. Also, if you bury the fucking wires and shit, hide everything good, and lock the door, when you're not there, it'll look like a fucking outhouse. It's not gonna look like there's thousands of dollars worth of electrical equipment inside of it. So, there's that. Then I had this other idea. This is the idea that I'm asking you guys about. I'm probably not asking all of you, because I don't think all of you have knowledge about this stuff. But I get some of you might have messed with this stuff before. What I was thinking about is make a outhouse with no floor. There's so much I could say right now. No, I'm being serious. Make an outhouse, but don't put a floor in the outhouse, right? And use that outhouse as a small chicken coop. Maybe have the poles going across, kind of like up high. You see what I'm saying? What I'm saying is that whenever I see these little chicken coops at like Tractor Supply, it's always something you gotta bend over to fucking get inside of it and fuck with it. And I just can't stand that kind of shit. So, I don't know. That's why I thought of this. I don't know how I come up with this idea. But I said to myself, shit, just make a little outhouse. And the chickens could be at eye level with you sometimes if they hop all the way up onto the high poles. And then during the day, you just let them out of the fucking thing, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a chicken expert. I'm not pretending to be, but be easier to do that because I'm already going to be building the outhouse for the battery. The battery outhouse. So, okay, so I got plenty of time here, so I don't get a rush. So that's rattling around in my head. So if any of you guys have any opinions, and if the outhouse chicken coop, it doesn't even sound good, but it would look good. It would be functional if I knew very much about chicken coops. But my point is, the outhouse chicken coop is not the most important thing going on right now. So when I get the cabin, it's gonna be, the interior dimension is going to be 14 feet wide by 24 feet. It's 14 by 30, but I have a little porch in the front. I probably gonna regret that, but there's not a lot of places really to get out of the sun, and I'm thinking about screening it in. If I do a good job, maybe me and the cat can sit out there. I don't want the cat getting in any trouble. So, what I'm thinking about doing is right across the front where the door is, putting a wall, probably 6 feet off the front wall, having that whole thing be the kitchen, and then have the rest be the bedroom. I mean, I had them build it. I asked them to build it with a higher peaked roof than normally these little Amish cabins have. So I could put a little loft, perhaps, up on the second floor. I might do that anyway, but I might use that for storage. Might use it as a cat play area, too. I like to do fun things for my cat. You'd be real lucky if you ever got reincarnated into a cat and you ended up being my cat, because I'm real nice to my animals. I just petted him when he was sleeping. Sorry, little guy. So what I'm thinking is, I don't know, 6-inch tongue and groove walls, in the ceiling. The floor is kind of a question mark to me, truthfully. My brain says just get wood, but the other part of my brain says get that laminate shit. This house has got some of that laminate shit in it. It just seems like, remember, I'm not building a mansion here. It's a cabin in a field. So I imagine there's going to be mud and bullshit. So I'm just thinking like a really nice hardwood floor is going to be a really nice disaster after a few years. I was thinking like tiles, but then I'm thinking in the winter, this thing's elevated off the ground, so I imagine that's going to be a fucking nightmare for my foot in the winter, so I don't think tiles is going to be a good idea. Although I could put throw rugs down or something. All of this is kind of me asking questions too, because I don't know. If I put any electricity in there, I'm going to fucking exterior with the conduit. I'm not putting the shit in the walls. The reason being, I've always liked that better. Look at it like this. If that cabin is around 10, 15 years after I'm dead and somebody has to drill a hole in the wall, they're not going to have to worry about hitting a power line in the wall. But I don't even know if I'm going to have electricity in the fucking thing. It's kind of like a, maybe I will, maybe I won't. But one thing I'm really pondering, you guys might want to hear, be interested in. If you go to Lehman's, it's called Lehman's Non-Electric. They got these gas lanterns. Not a lantern, though. It's like a fixture. I'm thinking about on the wall that goes in between the kitchen and the living area. I might run a gas line up through there and have one on each side. So one gas lamp for the kitchen and one gas lamp for the living area. Just because I'd like to have multiple forms of lighting. So, I don't know. The wood stove has turned into a shit fight because the EPA, blah, 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 you can't use fucking antique wood stoves no more. There's some kind of an exemption, but the exemption still seems to only sound... Now, you know how I am with reading this shit. I can read Quantrill, but I can't read that shit good at all. But it seems there's an exemption for non-permanent dwellings, which is what this is going to be. So I can use like a camp wood stove, but I don't think you're allowed to use an antique wood stove, which sucks because all my wood stoves are too big. There's this barbecue place me and my uncle go to, and there's a guy that's got a fucking, what I call it, I guess, a caboose wood stove. I don't know how much he wants for it, but I'd pay good money for it because it's a little tiny potbelly stove. That would totally heat this thing. That's one of the issues. It's the size. A big wood stove would be too big, and a small wood stove is kind of too small. They got one in Harbor Freight for like, Harbor Freight, you fucking idiot. Tractor Supply. I always call Tractor Supply Harbor Freight. Brain damage. They got one for like $400. That'll work. So, if I don't get that one, it's like fucking $1,500, $2,000. The only difference to me is the ones for $2,000 got a glass window that you can see the fire. I don't want to spend an extra fucking $1,100 or fucking $1,500 for a fucking fancy window. Yeah, it would be good. I'm not gonna say it wouldn't be good. It'd be cool, but I'm being realistic. I'm not a millionaire. It's not like I'm planning on staying in this cabin forever. So that's kind of another thing too. What is my idea at this point? Because I could totally live in this cabin for the rest of my life, I guess. I don't know. But my plan is I'm just going to hang out with this cabin until I can log the land, and then I got to see how much money I get from logging the land. Because I don't know what I'm going to be able to do. Because I don't know what kind of money it's going to generate. I mean, if I could build a garage, that would be great, because I could live in the garage and let my uncle stay in this cabin. If I could build a house, that would be great too. Oh, wait, the next thing I'm going to be doing. 40-foot containers. I gotta get another 40-foot container. I think I told you guys this shit. Machine shop. So at the very least, wow, say it like that at the very least, because this is a big order for you to fill, Mr. fucking I could only work for one side of one cassette tape, and then I have to take a 2-hour fucking break. My idea is, if I could get the cabin into livable shape, which doing the interior of that cabin shouldn't take too long once I get rolling. I gotta insulate it and shit, but my father was allergic to insulation, so I used to do all the insulating, even since I was a kid, so it's not like I'm unfamiliar with insulating. If I can get the living space squared away, at least to a degree that I can live in for the winter. I'm debating that shit. Like, do I really need a refrigerator and a freezer if I'm going to be there all winter? I mean, it's going to be cold as fuck outside. I can just put shit in the truck. So I don't know. I'd like to get one of those little gas stoves, but there again, not made of money. And it isn't even so much that, just like I get irritated dealing with getting the shit. If the shit just fell out of the sky and landed in my lap, I wouldn't be so fucking reluctant to do shit. But everything turns into a headache for me. But with the little wood stove, I can cook. With a microwave, I can cook. The battery thing won't be a fucking problem. I've done that before. But yeah, I'd like to see if I can get that and then get as much of my machine shop shit moved up there as I can. And maybe not even all of it, just like the milling machine. I have to get a military generator to run that fucking milling machine now. The milling machine, drill press, one of my lathes. You see what I mean? Like, I don't need everything up there. But just so I can do a little bit of fiddling around if I have to, it would be nice. And I think my big plan for the winter, truthfully, would be me and the cat. I don't think I'm gonna try to go in and out with a snowmobile. My brother hates that idea. Always trying to get me to fucking get a snowplow and plow the road. But if I'm gonna have my uncle with me, I would do that. It's just me and the cat. I'm just gonna do the snowmobile, I think. Not etched in stone, so don't hold me to that. Don't hold me to that. But I think one of my plans is I'm gonna try to get as much ammo as I can, which I mean I got plenty of. I just don't like eating up stuff without replacing it. When I say ammo, I mean a little bit of 5.56 maybe, but definitely a bunch of 22s. Really, what I want to do is just spend the winter shooting 22s. Yeah, I think it'd be awesome to just be way out in the fucking wilderness, surrounded by snow. Just do some fucking shooting like that. Nothing fucking. I'm not talking like tactical shit running around like a fucking jackass on the ice. Just talking like, I got a handful of fucking different 22s. That would be fun. And if I could get chickens in that stupid outhouse that you're going to tell me is a good idea, I hope. I could fucking have eggs, and eggs are my favorite fucking target. I think I'm supposed to do other shit with them, but shooting them is fun too. Alright. Hope you guys are doing well. Fuck you all.